Now here at Top Oz Tours, we're all about exploring Oz, but in this video we've popped over to visit the neighbours. Welcome to fascinating South Africa, a country that many Aussies dream of visiting for its rich cultural heritage and, of course, spectacular wildlife viewing. Across the country, the hotels are great, the tucker is tops, and you're in for the holiday of a lifetime. I'm Adam Ford from Top Oz Tours, and in this video we bring you tips for 10 great things to do on a first visit to South Africa. We'll explore captivating Cape Town and the Cape of Good Hope. Pop the top along the garden route and monkey around at Monkeyland. Live it up at a luxury lodge on the edge of Addo Elephant National Park. Step back in time on the Boer War battlefields in Dundee. Go on a game drive in wondrous Kruger National Park. Marvel at the majesty of the Blyde River Canyon, and much more. But before we roll, take a moment to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more amazing travel ideas. Our trip gets underway in what's fondly known in South Africa as the Mother City, cosmopolitan Cape Town. Boasting a spectacular setting at the foot of Table Mountain, Cape Town was established as a Dutch colony in the mid-1600s and later occupied by the British. The regenerated waterfront offers an array of dining and shopping options. And 20 or so minutes walk from there will bring you to one of the city's most distinctive neighbourhoods, Bo-Kapp. Here, slaves brought from the East Indies settled as free men after the end of slavery in the Cape in the early 1830s. The free men painted their houses all the colours of the rainbow to reflect their heritage, and many of those original houses still stand today. Another must-see lies on the opposite side of the city and is recognised as South Africa's oldest building. The Castle of Good Hope was built in the late 17th century by the Dutch East India Company to protect their fledgling settlement, which serviced ships travelling from the Netherlands to the East Indies along the spice route. Now, for more than 4 centuries, travellers have been navigating their way around the Cape of Good Hope. Of course, we all remember being at school learning about Vasco da Gama, finding a way around Africa and onto India in 1498. Just being here, you recognise what an amazing sight it must have been to those early explorers. It was originally known as the Cape of Storms, but was given a PR makeover by the King of Portugal to become the Cape of Good Hope that we know today. The famous Cape of Good Hope sits at the end of the Cape Peninsula in Table Mountain National Park and makes a great day trip from Cape Town. Now, contrary to popular belief, this is not the southernmost tip of Africa. That honour goes to Cape Agulhas, but it is an awe-inspiring stretch of coastline nonetheless. If you're doing the Cape as a day tour, choose one that includes a visit to nearby Boulders Beach to meet a colony of endangered African penguins. The Cape Winelands makes another great day out from Cape Town, and there are plenty of organised wine tours to choose from. Dutch colonists planted the first vineyards here in Western Cape, and the rest, as they say, is history. Our first stop is Anuro Vineyard for a wine and cheese tasting, and it's a wonderful introduction to the region's world-renowned winemaking scene. The region's Mediterranean-style climate of warm, dry summers and cold winters means bold reds like Merlot, Shiraz and Cab Sauv, along with crisp whites including Chardonnay and Sauv Blanc. We also visit stylish Takara wines, just outside the town of Stellenbosch. Takara offers a range of award-winning vintages to sample, and it's a thumbs up from me. Bidding Cape Town a fond farewell, we travel east along the picturesque garden route towards the resort town of Knysna, which sits on the shimmering Knysna lagoon. With its temperate year-round climate, this town is super popular with tourists, and there are plenty of ways to get out on the water and enjoy the sublime setting. The region is also famous for the production of one particularly slippery snack, and I decide to bring in an expert to find out more.
Knysna is renowned for its oysters. People come from all over the world to visit Knysna, especially to eat Knysna oysters. Oysters grow endemic to the southern coast region, all the way from Algoa Bay to False Bay, which is just the other side of Cape Town. And the most popular oyster that we have here is a common Knysna rock oyster.
So a beautiful plate of oysters gets delivered to your table like this. How can you tell you're getting a good oyster?
Well, Adam, the first thing you have to do is look at the oyster. When you hold up the oyster, notice it must have a nice clear sheen to it. If it hasn't got a clear sheen, it has been open for a substantial amount of time and it should not be eaten. Secondly, look at the color. You're looking for a nice, consistent ivory color. Anything other than that, it's suspect. Then, smell the oyster. It should have a nice, clean, crisp smell to it. It should smell of the ocean.
No, it smells very fresh. It doesn't smell fishy or...
Indeed.
Now, there is some monkey business going on today. We are at the Monkeyland's Primate Sanctuary. There are 10 species of monkey, lemur and ape to meet, including one of just 3 monkeys native to South Africa, the vervet, and they are very, very naughty.
Okay, well, we started Monkeyland in 1998 because in those years, even if you went to a zoo or a place where, animals are kept, the only way you could really see primates would be in a cage. And some places, like in the States, that you'd be able to maybe see them on a little island, which is all electrified, a little, maybe one tree. And we just thought there must be a way that you can actually look after primates, but give them much more space, actually give them a jungle back. We scouted around South Africa looking for indigenous forests and found this piece, called it Monkeyland, and the whole concept was to let monkeys have a space where they could be monkeys.
What's the process when a monkey's brought to Monkeyland?
The process will differ from, obviously if it's a pet monkey, it will take a bit longer because we have to rehabilitate you back into your wilder state. Zoo monkeys rehabilitate much easier because there is not so much hands-on. And lab monkey, it depends really on what kind of trauma the animal went through. Most of the rescues that we get from labs would first have gone to a place like Stichting Aap in Holland, in Almere, and there they will be re-socialized with other primates. And then when they've kind of settled into a normal sort of monkey behavior, then we'll ship them out to us and we will release them to Monkeyland.
The sanctuary is located less than an hour's drive from Knysna, and entry proceeds support its work. From Monkeyland, we continue heading east towards Addo Elephant National Park in Eastern Cape. Now, if you have a luxury African lodge experience on your bucket list, book a stay at fabulous Kuzuko Lodge, which sits within a private game reserve on the edge of Addo. The standalone hilltop chalets overlook the plains of the vast Karoo, and the views are spectacular. The chalets are beautifully appointed and offer all the creature comforts one could wish for. Kuzuko also has a wellness centre and an infinity pool, so pack your swimmers. And then, of course, there are the game drives, and they are mind-blowing.
My expectations were that it would be pretty special. It would be an amazing place. It would be a beautiful environment. I didn't expect it to be so integrated into the park. You feel like the accommodation is actually part of the environment. There are animals literally right there. There are lions, there are elephants, there are kudos, there are cheetahs, all basically right there. And even though it's a game reserve, it's still very much a real environment. The animals are surviving, they're hunting each other. It's like it would be in any African environment, I would have thought. But it's just an opportunity to get up close and personal with the animals and to see them in this just amazing space. It's incredible.
Heading north, we make our way towards the Drakensberg Mountains in the province of KwaZulu-Natal. Travelling inland, you start to get more of a sense of the rural way of life in South Africa. And before long, the peaks of the mighty Drakensberg appear. The region is World Heritage listed by UNESCO for both its natural beauty and cultural significance, as these mountains harbour thousands of pieces of San rock art. We're spending the night at the iconic Cathedral Peak Hotel, which I can't recommend highly enough for both its superb location and hospitality. Hiking is one of this region's most popular activities, and we sign up for what turns out to be a relatively taxing trek with a local guide to see some rock art. The San are regarded as one of the oldest surviving cultures in Africa, and the hike reveals several examples of their ancient form of cultural expression. And yes, I slept well that night. Rising racial tensions between colonial Britain and Boer farmers, the descendants of the original Dutch colonists, led to the Boer Wars of the late 18 and early 1900s. We followed the battlefield's route to the mining town of Dundee to visit the site of the first battle of the Second Boer War at Talana Hill. The Talana Museum and Heritage Park is packed with artefacts relating to the conflict, and you could literally spend hours here studying the collection. Today, the peaceful surroundings seem strangely at odds with the battle that took place here. Visit the small cemetery, which honours some of the young men who fell during this pivotal moment in South African history. Continuing north, we arrive in Kruger National Park, one of the world's greatest natural treasures. And we waste no time in booking a game drive. Then tour guide Ed was happy to share his incredible knowledge of Kruger with us.
Tell me a little bit about Kruger National Park.
All right, the Kruger National Park is a vast area. It's about 2 million hectares. And it is called the Kruger National Park because it was established by our former president of the Zuid-Afrikaanse Republic, Paul Kruger, so hence the name Kruger National Park. Now the reason why the park was established is because in 1837 the voortrekkers came through the Eastern Transvaal area. They eventually settled on the foothills of the Drakensberg. During the winter months they would come down into this area and do extensive hunting. And Paul Kruger saw that this was going too far, and then he decided to start a conservation area. He suggested the notion in 1884. He was met with a lot of opposition from the general South African Republic because they didn't see the need for it. But eventually in 1888 he got the notion through and they started the first conservation reserve in South Africa. It was a very small area then compared to what the Greater Kruger National Park is today, and it was to be called the Sabi Reserve. And then eventually it expanded and today we know it as the Kruger National Park.
Kruger National Park is home to the Big Five.
Yes.
Tell me, how did they get the name, the Big Five?
Well, Big Five is a hunting term. Obviously, in earlier years, there was a lot of hunting taking place. But the Big Five doesn't actually refer to the size of the animals. It is actually the 5 most dangerous animals to hunt while you're on foot. So the Big Five consists out of lion, leopard, buffalo, rhino, and elephant.
What's the most dangerous animal in the park?
The animal responsible for the most human deaths in Africa, the mammal, is the hippopotamus. It is a very territorial animal, and it has a fear of humans. So when it encounters humans, it tends to become aggressive.
What is the best time of the year, in your opinion, to visit the park?
The best time of the year to visit Kruger is during our winter months, because during our summer we have summer rainfall. So as soon as it starts raining in Kruger, the vegetation becomes very dense, and all the trees gain their leaves again, and it's very difficult to see into the bush. Where in winter a lot of the trees lose their leaves, the grass sort of dries out and dies, so you can generally see further into the bush from the roads that we'll be driving on. And also it's not so hot, and the animals tend to be less active the hotter it gets, because obviously it takes a lot more energy to move around when it's really hot. So winter is definitely a better time to come to Kruger.
What's your favourite animal?
My favourite animal in the park is the elephant. Elephants are extremely intelligent, they're extremely emotional creatures, and I personally think the elephant is the king of the jungle. Most people would tell you it's the lion, but I encounter elephants and lions on a daily basis, and I know that the lions are scared of elephants.
What's the most popular animal, do you think, with visitors to the park?
Lion. Yeah, that's the most requested animal for the visitors to the park.
There's no doubt Kruger is a magnificent place, but we've probably saved the most beautiful part of South Africa for last.
It's unbelievable, isn't it? Unbelievable. Unreal.
Departing Kruger, we travel along the scenic panorama route, home to the mighty Blyde River Canyon. First stop, though, is God's Window, which you might remember from the hit 1980s comedy The Gods Must Be Crazy. Also check out the Bourke's Luck Potholes, a series of geological oddities that have been carved out by flowing water over the course of 2 million years. From here, the Blyde River heads off to continue the age-old job of sculpting the epic Blyde River Canyon, 26 kilometres long and just under 800 metres deep. It's a fitting spot to end our trip. For more ideas for top things to do in South Africa, just head to our website.